Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Red Nation Indigenous Filmmakers Lounge for the 25th RNCI Red Nation International Film Festival. And boy, we've just been really going strong with meeting with all the directors of several of our films in this Filmmakers Lounge. A total of filmmakers that we've been interviewing is 28. And we still have some more coming up next week. So every day check into our Red Nation Film Festival Native Cinema Facebook page, and you will see all of the updates and the upcoming conversation series that we have lined up. But today we have a spotlight on really, this is an incredible film in its own right. And this film is called Forgotten People. And our guest filmmaker today is Kenji. I'm gonna try Kenji.
Yep.
Hayasaki?
Hayasaki.
Hayasaki.
Yes.
Okay. And welcome to the conversation series.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me and this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Kenji's film is about an intimate look at how Navajos from different generations of a single family strive to keep their traditional values to pass on to future generations while finding their own place in American society. So, and all of our audience out there that's viewing this, you can see Kenji's film on rednationff.com. And I highly suggest to go visit and view it. So Kenji, you are Japanese.
Yes.
And you live in New York City. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to know what inspired you to make a film about our native peoples.
Right. So that always gets like a long story, so I'll try to minimize.
Yeah.
But I was always interested in Native American culture, and you know, it's more like, you know, the jewelries and, you know, powwows and, you know, a little bit more surface of Native culture. And then I met this guy when I was traveling who was really into Native culture. So he told me like a little bit more in depth of Native culture. And then he lived in Flagstaff to study Native American, you know, cultures and environments. So he introduced me to, you know, this Navajo family, and then we became really close, and I was able to, you know, learn more about them. And why I decided to make a documentary just kind of came afterwards. I was just kind of genuinely curious, and I was filming like random things. And then one day I just decided to put it together, hoping to make a feature film, but I didn't have enough material or budget to make feature. So I just made a short piece for now, and that's, you know, that's how it went. So
being curious and wanting to know more about the Native culture, like what was the inspiration with this family? Like what made you decide to pick this one family for your film? Choose this one family for your film?
Sure. And actually, I think why I kept asking the same questions to myself, but why I'm so fascinated with the culture is it's a little bit similar to our culture, like a Japanese culture.
In what way? Wait, in what way?
It's very, you know, they value the traditions, and it's very, very family oriented, and, you know, the respecting for the nature. And I would, you know, I don't know if I have rights to generalize this, but I have a feeling like as a Japanese, I often felt we are losing all that because we were so westernized now, Japanese, and it's all capitalism and modernized, and those family value and traditional values are losing. So this family, they are also in a way Americanized. They live in the city, Flagstaff, and working for Americans. But they have this strength to keep their cultures, and just the bonds, family bonds are really strong. So that's something that really impressed me.
And what was it like when you approached them and said, after you became friends with them and said, I want to make a movie about you? What was that like?
Yeah, it was kind of like naturally. I was like sliding in like slowly. It wasn't like that proposition, like clear proposition. I was like often filming, and I would ask like, do you mind if I film? I didn't really have a clear purpose then. And then like at one point, I really want to take this seriously to the real filming, and they're pretty okay. They didn't even ask question, and maybe they didn't even know how serious I was going for. But yeah, there was no objection.
Yeah. And how long did it take for you to make this documentary?
So it was the first shot I made, I filmed, was over 10 years ago with a really old SD camcorder. And again, I didn't have any clear intention. It was just so powerful that I felt that it was an elders meeting. And it was so powerful that I just decided to record it. But then I didn't do anything with it for a few years. Then went back again and went back again. So I don't know if I should say like 10 years, but how I really put my effort was like about a year. It was mostly editing, just piece everything together to make sense.
Yeah, so this last session that I just interviewed, this last film before you, we were talking about how it's all in the editing room, like that can make or break a film, right? Is the editing, and how all the elements of sound is like character in a film. So when you were editing, like, did you have like a crew, or was it just you?
It was, for editing, it was just me. I had a sound designer, who was like a god to me, because sound recording was pretty terrible at the time, and he fixed a lot. And also the music and color correction, just to give a consistent tone for the entire film that was filmed in a different time, different medium. So, but the editing was pretty much just me, just getting feedbacks from other filmmaker friends of mine. But yeah.
So this is your second film then?
I've filmed, I don't know if I would, I've filmed a lot of stuff before, but this type of independent documentary film is a really first time.
Oh, so you're okay. Yeah. Well, that's exciting then.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, wow, that's very exciting. So because you're Japanese, and I want to share with you, I have a lot of friends that are native, that are married with Japanese women, and I just feel that, or vice versa, and it's just, I am very into our ceremonies, so I always see them at ceremony, and I love that. I really love that.
Right. It's just kind of hard to explain, but I feel like I fit when I'm in Native American community, and they are very welcoming as well for some reason. Maybe like, our facial features are not, kind of close. But
that makes sense. Yeah. Well, so tell me a little bit about your film,
Mhm.
like the journey of your film. What was that like for you? I know we tapped on it a little bit, but I mean,
Right.
what was like the journey for you? Like what,
So
like
it
what
was.
gut, you know, core intuitive thing that you had with this film?
Mm. So it was kind of, for me, like making this film, especially in editing, was, like I said, I didn't have a clear purpose as I was shooting, which is not something I would recommend to other filmmakers.
It's a guerrilla filmmaking that
But
way.
I'm just, this editing suite, I was able to just, keep asking the question, what's the purpose of making this,
Yeah.
and things. And as I'm involved in this film, I felt like I learned more about their culture, like in different levels, just not just the history, but like also a spiritual level. And it's yeah, it's about like getting to the core of Native people. Not just how I studied. It's not just about powwow or jewelry, but it's all like intertwined with the history, cultures. So my journey was just basically me learning about their culture, and I was hoping, this film actually share with so many people, especially like, mainstream American people, like white people, because they're a lot of them are somewhat like how I studied. They know like this dance and jewelries and
Right.
stuff. So yeah, that's.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. So in other words, like there's powwows and there's, you know, the purchasing of our artists with their
Mhm.
jewelry and their crafts, arts and crafts. But
Yeah,
there's a whole other thing to go inside a home of a
Mhm,
Native person and capture the
mhm.
essence of who our people are in a
Right.
traditional setting, which is their home.
Mhm. Yes,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so that's very powerful. And because a lot of people out there, and for the viewers out there that are watching, like a lot of people really don't realize that we're still here,
Right,
alive
exactly.
and well.
Mhm. So I was hoping, like I could be, or my film could be a little bit bridge, like a gateway to, more deep. Because I was thinking about my film touch a little bit about, boarding school to like radioactivity, like contamination of the environment, and
Right.
the land dispute, like all these big issues. And I felt like, and there's already been like so many films out there that
Yeah.
deals with that. So I feel like my role is to just kind of be a gateway, and just for general people who wasn't really interested in Native culture to find interest, and maybe they can take it from there to study on their own or watch other films.
Yeah. And Kenji, what made you come up with the title, The Forgotten People?
Yes, that was a little bit. That was actually set almost at the beginning of when I decided to make a film. Forgotten People started off. So what I shot in 10 years ago, the elders meeting, as I mentioned, that's where it all started. And they call themselves Forgotten People. They're elders group, kind of trying to fight for their rights and, for better life. But they were all like elders, like 70 to 80, 90-year-old elders. So that was their name, but I felt that applies to many things. It's not just about elders, but
Yeah.
their cultures and their histories, and it's easily ignored in this mainstream American culture. So I thought it was appropriate to name it that.
And so how did you come up with the funding? Did you use your own money or did you get funding?
Yeah, so that's so it's all my own funding, which is not much. And basically I couldn't, like I said, I wanted to make a feature film for this, more in depth, going back again. But I just can't afford it anymore. So I decided to make this short film to hopefully get more funding. Like now it has a presentable short film, and hopefully I can get funding to continue this project to feature film or TV series or anything in a longer form, because there are a lot of stories out there that I wanted to capture. So
yeah, that's what my next question was to you. Do you plan to make more documentaries or more films?
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I hope so. But right now, as you probably know, the Navajo Nation was hit hard by coronavirus. So if I do get the funding, I can't really just go right back and do the film as I want. So just waiting for the right timing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know a lot of our industry, well, some of our industry has gone back to work, but it's still very, tiptoeing because it's still a little dangerous still, to be filming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that for our institute, we've had to design, strategize for 5 years out to 2025 and move slowly with that plan, because we're not going to be, I mean, we just elected a new president, that thing, yes. And, and that could take them a while, a couple of years to, but I'm happy that their first agenda is this COVID-19. So that's really a positive step forward.
Right. Good.
So I feel very confident that, most likely will be sooner than 2025, I'm hoping.
Right. Yeah, we'll get back.
And we can all go back to work and create our creative selves and make more movies. So Kenji, if you were to go back, I mean, if we were to, when we go back in person, what film would you do? Do you have one planned? Do you have one written? Do you have a script written?
For the documentary,
to do another film.
On the Navajo people?
On whatever film.
Or anything. Oh,
yeah.
Sure. So I have a couple of projects in my mind.
Okay.
I'm writing the script for the feature, like a narrative feature. That's what my background. I used to do more narrative stuff. But yeah, that's in development stage, and it doesn't have anything to do with a Native American theme. But this documentary, like I said, I wanted to build a feature or a long series.
Yeah.
That's more realistic now, because I already have the groundwork done. So I want to interview more people, and this short film only dealt with a middle-aged to older generation, and I didn't really get a chance to talk with the younger generations, which I'm really interested, because they are, the future. So I want to dig deeper into their lives, and and hopefully I find more crew to, producers to just kind of work with, because when I'm doing everything by myself, I'm only in my head, and I can't really see the things subjectively and objectively, and especially it's tough because I'm not native, and I want to be appropriate. There are a lot of cultural appropriations that, I may or may not be aware of as I'm continuing. So I hope, some Native people, I was hoping, the festival wasn't virtual so that I could, meet
Oh yeah.
Native filmmakers, but hopefully I get connected with some talented filmmakers.
Well, what we're doing for next year, all the filmmakers that have screened at our festival this year are invited back next year.
Oh wow!
And
Okay.
we'll figure out something special so that if hopefully we'll be in person.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that I know I miss. I look forward to every year is meeting everybody. I'm a big hugger and hugging and introducing people and making all these contacts with. I love when filmmakers meet each other and connect and get inspired. It's that's what a festival does, right? So it's, and when the film industry comes in and films get distribution and go on to win other awards and other festivals like Tribeca, or pick up nominations or get shortlisted with the Academy, or the Spirit Awards for the independent film independent. Those are things that have happened for our filmmakers with our festival. So inside our festival, so it's there is something to say about being in person. That's for sure. Of
course, but I can see you doing the best you can do, having these sessions and everything. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah. Me too. I'm happy that Steve Jobs created the computer. This this
yeah, this is the world we're in now. So
yeah. I want to ask you, what was your aha moment or a challenging moment making your documentary? Or like a magic moment or a spiritual moment, or
Sure. Trying to remember, I'm sure there were, but one of the big portion of my film I used was to go to this ceremony called Kinauda. This is Navajo young woman's coming of age ceremony. So I was with this family and just kind of casually hanging out in a reservation, getting in a flea market actually, and just checking out the jewelry, and they found their relative selling some concho belt, like traditional belts, and then it turned out his daughter was having a ceremony, and so this family asked if I wanted to go to the ceremony, and I'm like, of course, and I have a camera. So a few days later, we ended up in the ceremony and filmed. This is kind of a rare image, and I was so happy that I was welcomed in this very, very traditional Navajo ceremony and film it. So that was the biggest moment. And the moment of failure.
Pardon me?
What was the other question?
And then I wanted to ask you, how long did you stay on the Navajo res and filming? Like, how long were you there?
It was only total. Like I said, I went back and forth, but the total was like probably less than 20 days. But I wasn't always filming because it was more for me to learn about them and make connection with them, and the filming was almost secondary then. And also I filmed some in Flagstaff too.
I am looking at some questions here. And Okay, so we're going to wrap this up in a moment, but I wanted to ask you the last question. What would you like to share with our audience? What would you like to share with our audience? I'm getting questions, that's why I got distracted. Share with our audience, what would you, as the director of Forgotten People, what would you like the audience to know from your point of view about learning from our Dene relatives?
Sure. There are actually two types. I see there are two types of audience, which is native audience and non-native audience. And I think the purpose is a little bit different. And for American audience, like I said, I want them to be aware and more, recognize Native American people, and just hopefully my film is like almost like a starting point for them to just explore, to learn more about them. And for the natives, I want them to know that, like I'm Japanese and living in New York, and but there are a lot of people who feel like strong connection to them and their cultures, and just I would like them to be proud of their own cultures and traditions, and just preserve as much as possible.
Oh, yeah, I hear that you care. I sense that and appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to thank you, Kenji, for making your movie. And I want to thank you for submitting it to our festival.
Of course, it was on my top list.
Oh, how did you hear about our festival?
I I don't remember exactly, but I was researching, what's the native themed film festivals, and your festival came up.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, that's a good thing. Well, I'm glad you took initiative and submitted your film, and I look forward to seeing more of your films, native or non-native. I think you're an incredible filmmaker, and I'm happy that we were able to spotlight you today and have this conversation. And one of my biggest dreams is to go to Japan for 3 months and live with the monks in silence for 3 months. That is a big prayer that I have, that I want to do.
Oh, please.
Sooner than later.
Sure. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep in touch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And you can visit the website Red Nation FF and see Kenji's film, Forgotten People, and also see all the 105 films that we have available until the November 30th. And there's 74 documentaries, 105 films, 35 directed by women, 12 student films, and 10 experimental films. We have 16 events, and we have 28 conversation series with our filmmakers, and we have our award ceremony on November 29th. It's a VIP ticket, limited seating only. It's going to be an exclusive streaming opportunity. It will not be on Facebook. So I'd suggest you get your tickets now at rednationff.com. And then we're going to close the month off with our concert series. It's Artists in Solidarity in Creating Systemic Change Through Music, Arts, and Film. And our featured artists are Joe Walsh, Jennifer Warrens, Joanne Shenandoah, Hook Herrera, Corey Morton, myself. There's a whole list of artists. So check the website, Red Nation FF, and we'll see you at the movies. Bye, everyone. Bye. Kenji.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes.